getting hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows.
Greetings, race fans, and welcome to this New Year's Eve edition of Sim Racers Group Formula 3 Racing on SMB. Jared Gregory here with you on the call, along with Charles Boshell and tonight's producer, Racing Ron Maunz. And the third week of this F3 season takes us on a 2-hour drive through Germany's Rhineland from last week's venue, the Nürburgring, to the Hockenheimring. Located near the town of Hockenheim in western Germany, the original circuit was built all the way back in 1932. The current iteration came into being when the track was drastically shortened in 2002 following threats from Formula One to withdraw their show from the venue. And in recent years, Hockenheimring has hosted FIA GT, World Superbikes, TCR Europe, GT World Challenge Europe, of course, DTM, and the Formula One Grand Prix of Germany. Today's configuration, 2.8 miles, 4.5 clicks, 17 corners, and a record of 113.780 was set by Kimi Räikkönen in a McLaren all the way back in 2004. And if you were following Kimi back then, they had some reliability problems with that car. The wing actually fell off, causing a DNF at the race, where Kimi set that record, which still stands today. But Charles, you know what? I love these F3 cars on F1 circuits. I'm confident we're in for a great couple of races tonight. So what are you looking for out of these cars and drivers tonight at Hockenheim?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good race, JR. It's good to be back, and I like Hockenheim as a track. I think it's a really good track. It's a racer's track. I think as you said, the Formula cars run really well here. I think this is a great track for just single make or single class racing. A little iffy there for multi-class, but I've seen some really good Porsche Cup races here as well. I have no doubt. I enjoyed driving this in the F3 car, so I have no doubt this is going to be a really good race, and I'm looking forward to seeing the inverted grid with my own eyes for the first time.
Yeah, the world didn't end, and this is our third consecutive week of running that inverted top six from the heat race into the feature. And as qualifying got about 7 minutes remaining in our 1 hour open qualifying, and our usual suspects, I guess, are at the top. Stephen Case currently has the provisional pole with a 1:31.135. So Case showing the pace as usual. He's got Josh Leslie sniffing around behind him, about 1600s. Traber Burns behind him, Velasco, and the Week 2 P2, Kalen Mikovits there in P5. But yeah, this is a fantastic track for these cars. Every now and then, Charles, we talk about tire wear, particularly in the second race, the feature race. And this one, to me, says that these rears are going to be in jeopardy as these drivers have to put the power down in a long sequence of kind of low-speed corners where the aero isn't doing much to help with that rear grip.
Yeah, it's true. It is. There's several low-speed corners here, but there's also a lot of medium to high-speed corners that you really have to throw the G's around, especially in going into the arena section, especially to some really hard cornering that has to be done with these cars. And you have to have a pretty precise line. Obviously, I've spent a few laps in that gravel trap on the inside there as you battle there, as we're on board with Jason Green talking about that very section as well. These are some interesting and some difficult corners. Really looking forward to seeing what these cars could do, especially when we get started getting racy here. The mid-pack battle should be pretty hot and heavy. Obviously, you don't have a lot of room for error here. It's not the widest track in the world. And to kind of overlay your point you made earlier, the FIA come in and threatened them to take away their race if they didn't change the track, and they still did it. They still took away the race. No more Hockenheim, so you don't get to see the cars race there anymore.
Well, they got a few of them now between 2002 and I think the last German Grand Prix was about 2017. So they did get a handful of events in there. But if you look at the Google Earth view or aerial view of the track, you can still see that long straightaway, the remnants of it heading off into the forest here in the Rhineland in Germany. But yeah, you mentioned precision, Charles, and I think that is a really good point, and one that we may come back to. There are a lot of very, very precise spots as we're watching Daniel Lebivy right now go through one of them. That turn one has been a constant source of frustration for me as a GT3 driver. A little easier with downforce, a little more grip, but I always feel like I'm overslowing right there, and you really have got to thread the needle to keep as much speed as possible across the apex. Got to nip that inside curb and got to use all of the track out that you can without picking up a penalty there. So very, very challenging course, and turn one actually absolutely the bane of my existence running laps around this place.
Yeah, you said it right. You just kind of have to nip that inside curb. If you clobber it with these cars, which you can get away with the GT3s a little bit, but if you hit that inside curb too much with these cars, it's either going to send you around or it's going to send you over into that outside gravel trap and invalidate your lap, as well as probably cause a slowdown and some off tracks, and then the rejoins become a little more difficult. But yeah, it is a very technical corner there. And then, you get into this section here as we're on board with Traber Burns going down here into turn two. It's just, kind of float the car in. You got to give up a little bit to get a good entry into turn 3 and get that run down the straightaway. When you get down to that massive hairpin, which is going to be a real challenge point for these drivers. There's going to be some side-by-side late braking going on down into that hairpin entry. And this is one of the sections of the track where it's wide enough to where you can get two or three cars wide going in. But by the time you come out, it just kind of narrows in the middle. And so you don't really have the lines that you think that you do because all the cars want to just get on the throttle and kind of work their way to the outside line. And if you happen to be on the outside when that process starts, you usually end up in the grass or in the wall.
Yeah, too right, Charles. And speaking of that sequence of corners that we just watched Burns go through, I think patience is another word that comes up a lot around here, at least for me. You got to be so patient on the power, coming out of turn 2, coming out of turn 3, patient coming out of turn 6, patient coming out of turn 8. And some of these corners just seem to last forever while you're waiting to put the power down. As we watch Josh Leslie go through what they call turn 5. It's really a back straightaway. You're running the car all the way through the gears and then hard on the binders, the tightest corner, one of the tightest corners in iRacing right here. A tough one, really, solo from where I'm sitting, but side by side definitely is going to be happening. And I will say, Charles, you were with us last season. Things got a little bit messy at a couple points in the season, and the league admins have responded by adding stewarding. And although I missed last week, but week 1, it looks like that has helped a little bit, and people are giving lots of space and being a little more cautious now that there are incident reviews and potential post-race penalties being imposed here. So speaking of that, turn 6, that is going to be a place to show that you're aware that the principal is watching, and there could be consequences for bad decisions right there.
Yeah, that's sometimes you hate to have that be implemented, but I think from just kind of watching the Discord, I think everybody was kind of on board with that. Said, yeah, we kind of got a little crazy. Let's see if we can get some help to clean things up, and that'll make everybody's standards a little better, and that will make the racing a little more cleaner and probably more exciting as well. It's as long as we don't get into these races with rain, I think we'll be okay. Obviously, I watched the F4 race last night, and it was chaotic to say the least.
Yeah, and it's easy to fall into the mindset of viewing stewarding and stewards' decisions as only punishment, but there's some learning that happens during a steward's review as well, and the stewards discuss decisions with the drivers, talk to them about what they might have done differently, and some of those discussions are publicized on Discord. So if somebody makes a mistake, they might get dinged, but it's going to be a learning or teaching opportunity for the admins and learning opportunity for the other drivers, and I know that this great sim racers group community takes advantage of that. But looks like our qualifying is finished here, and at 2, no one surprised Stephen Case sitting in P1 right now from Leslie from Burns, and we'll get the rest of that qualifying order for you here shortly. And there it is. There is the grid. It's going to be Case next to Josh Leslie in row 1. Leslie continues to crank up the pace and still waiting to have a good result here, as it needs to put a full race together. We'll be watching him for that. Then it's Burns next to Velasco in row 2. Jason Green will line up next to Mikovits in 5 and 6. Then it's De Silva next to Edgar Loud. Josh Corwin will line up next to Daniel Labibi in row 5. Then David Borden next to Danush Boborgi. Then it's Christopher Eggert next to Adam Duvall in row 7. Jason Cotcher next to Jose Navas in 15 and 16. Snyder will line up next to Chris Wang in 17 and 18. Aaron Van Wagner next to Ryan Chia in 19 and 20. And Lloyd Conway in 21. And actually, now looking at my timing, Chia and Conway might have... I'm not... Interesting. Well, they haven't gridded yet, and they may have just been out here for practice. So we will we'll keep an eye on that. But if they don't grid up, iRacing is going to force the start here in about 45 seconds. I was
going to say, I do see where it says that Chia has disconnected.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I did not see it on Conway, and there was green flag, and we're off and running.
All right, we are underway, and Case is going to have the outside run here into turn one, but gets a very good launch. It's Case from Leslie, from Burns through turn one. Looks like Cotcher might have had a problem there. Looks like, oh my goch, a couple disconnects there.
Yeah.
So Edgar Lau might have had a problem. Oh my goodness, an upside down car there. And is that the league admin, Jason Cotcher? Speaking of possible penalties, and I think I saw a couple pieces of that Lego car in the wreckage there as well. So Snyder and Cotcher having problems there early. And here we go. You called it, 3 wide into turn 6 here, the hairpin for the first time. Burns is going to push it through. Case all the way down to P3, and Burns has brought something for Case today.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of that. Oh, as we get another spin there in the hairpin, got a couple cars around. Adam Duvall is around, like Lebivy was involved in that as well. And I don't think Adam's going to be able to get that car rejoined, like he just not able to get the car turned. So may see a tow from here and in short order as Cotcher and Snyder are already in the pits.
My goodness, and that is some level of commentator's curse there, as I talked about how the racing had seemed a little cleaner in week one, and very messy here. Only on lap 2, we've already got a couple tows underway, or on lap 1 rather. But look at Burns. He has put a 1.2 second gap on Case. Case had fallen to P3 briefly, but Case pushes back through Leslie to regain the second step on the podium. But Burns here has showed up to race, has a fast lap currently of a 1:37.9, and those lap times, of course, are going to drop as these tires warm up and as the fuel load decreases. But Burns showing that he is ready to party here at Hockenheim.
Yeah, absolutely. Burns has got that gap up to over a second. So he's kind of right at the edge of the draft range for Case. So Case is going to have to get back up there on pace. Obviously, we know Case has the pace because he's usually up at the front in most races. But obviously, when you're in second place, as we see a spin there from Mikovits around, like he got out on the curb on the outside, maybe touched the grass, but lost the car, slid out of the line there in the hairpin, was able to recover it, but has fallen down to P9.
Yeah, Mikovits was being challenged there on the inside of that entry to that hairpin at turn 6. And something got in his head, and totally something went wrong under braking there. And here is a replay of the turn 1 incident with Cotcher as he gets completely clobbered. And as I suspected, oh my goodness. With the camera fritzing out there. Oh, but our producer Ron loves some of those slow motion crash cams that we have. So there's Cotcher going upside down. One of a couple of problems already here early. And that is just. Go ahead, Charles.
I was going to say, I didn't think Cotcher was that far on the inside that he caught the inside curb, but he did. He actually, there was contact as they were entering the corner between him and Conway, I believe, and I'm sorry, not Conway, Snyder, the Lego car, and they just made contact going down into the corner. And as you can see, there is Snyder coming around with no rear wing. That's going to make those corners difficult as we're working. And you'll see another replay here. And he just turned in, and there was basically a difference in speeds entering the corner, and that was what caused that the contact there. As we get another replay here from Poborgi going down in, and you see the contact there, just kind of locks the brakes up and gets in contact. That's with one of the Labubu cars. Is that Lebivy, I believe? As we see the other car around as well, that was Duvall, I believe. Yeah, that's him getting reset. I think he was able to get rejoined and back out on the track and back trying to catch up to get back into the action.
Yeah, and here it is from Jose Navas's perspective. Yeah. He has to go evasive to avoid that Poborgi incident. Poborgi trying to dive there on the inside. Navas going evasive and getting hit by somebody who's trying to go around him. So that was kind of an ugly run through that hairpin that time, and a number of casualties there. But don't forget, folks, not one but two races here on Slow Motion Broadcasting tonight. This is the 15-minute initial heat race. The results of this one will set the order for the 25-minute feature to follow, with the top 6 finishers inverted. So no time to give up here at all. There's plenty of time left to make up positions and make something happen in the feature as well. And here's Jason Green challenging Josh Corwin, and you see that slipstream go to work on that long parabolic back straightaway. But Corwin not giving up here, and Corwin is going to challenge. Whoa! Gets a little bit loose right there. He was trying to break across the curbing, and that's something we've seen catch folks out a couple times. That red and white or blue and white striped curbing does not have anywhere near the grip of the asphalt, so heavy braking on that stuff will cause problems. You saw it right there.
Yeah, absolutely. As you see Green looking to the outside there as they whip it back around and head down this little short straight before they get into the arena. I was going to say this earlier before we started seeing some incidents there on that at the end of that straightaway. You might see a little bit of that here during the course of the race. A lot of cars being able to draft down and make moves on the cars in front, and then you just might see that swap come back around on the next lap as these cars are going to get held together a little bit by the draft. There's not a lot of drafting on this track, but there's a couple of good spots there as we still see another car. I think is that Leslie again? It might have been Corbin, but one of those green cars coming through there and getting wide, kicking up some dirt, bringing some trash back onto the track.
And taking a look at Corwin right now, he's got David Borden behind, and Borden showing up to race here. He's up 3 positions, looking very racy right here, and making Corwin stay on the defensive. We'll stay with Borden right now, and you see that draft going to work down that long straightaway, and Corwin is going to let him have the inside here. Borden showing some pace. He's one of the faster drivers in the field. Corwin knows discretion is the better part of valor, decides not to defend that time around, and will try to stay with him. As you said, Charles, the draft definitely going to work here, and here comes Eggert as well. Eggert has about 8/10 back up to this pair, so Eggert plenty of time left and in pretty good position to maybe press up into that 6, 7, 8 position, as this one is about halfway done here at Hockenheim.
Yeah, well, obviously that P6 is the feature pole, so you get stuck in there, and you've got a early advantage for the feature race. So it's going to be hard to unseat Jason Green out of there. I know he'll at least try and move up if he can, because obviously you want to get up there as high as you can, because it's just bragging rights for this race. So we'll see what happens as we're on board now with Stephen Case. He's closing the gap now 4/10 back of Traber Burns as they work their way into turn 2. You see him just a little bit there, and see Traber. I think if you look at the different lines there, Traber carries a little too much, a little more pace through turn 2, and it leaves him a little compromised to work back into 3. He's on kind of on the inside line and can't really just lay the power down as well as Stephen Case can. As you see Case now moving. Oh, sorry. Is that not what I just saw? It's Traber Burns still staying out front. So taking the inside line there and able to hang on to that top spot for the time being.
Yeah, I thought Case was going to have that one. It looked like he was setting up the over-under there as Burns really compromised his line through that hairpin by covering the inside. And look at Case cranking down that gap. It's under 1/10 now. And Charles, here is a place you don't normally see an inside move. Case going to show his nose, making Burns test the boundaries of the kitty litter right there. And Stephen Case is making Burns regret running in P1 right now all over him, and knows that it's only a matter of time before Case is going to be able to get beside him. Josh Leslie hanging right in there as well. And as I said, Leslie has a lot of pace, but this is his only his second season in these F3s, still waiting to put together a complete race, and it looks like he's got something going today. Yeah,
this definitely looks like it. And then the battle up front is definitely helping him keep him up in here able to challenge. And I think he's doing a good job of just watching. As you can see, this car's coming through, and that was a much better line that time by Burns, able to get that car routed around properly out of 2 and through 3. Just as I said, kind of at the outset here is there's a couple corners here you want to give up a little bit of pace to set the car up for the next corner, and that 2-3 complex is one of those. As we see now, Burns still fighting on the inside, still able to hang on, able to keep out in front of Case, but you see Case is absolutely putting the pressure on as they're going side by side through the corner. And that's another one of those corners. It's a medium speed corner that with not a lot of room for error, as you see those cars fighting side by side through there.
Yeah, some fantastic stuff right there. That's the Mercedes section that they just went through, and another one of those spots that requires a lot of precision. This one as well, as Ron puts us on board with Josh Leslie looking ahead at Case and Burns, and only about 6/10 covering all 3 of these cars. About just over 4 minutes remaining in this one. Tire wear, not a big concern in this 15-minute sprint. So these folks are pedaling hard right now, and tip of the hat again to Josh Leslie. He is hanging up front with the big dogs and hanging really well. If something goes sideways between Burns and Case, he's going to be in the catbird seat. Mm-hmm. And again, we have got Jason Green kind of clinging to that P6 with about a second now back to Borden. So Jason Green right now looking good for the pole in the feature as we hop on board with Stephen Case, looking forward at Burns about 2/10 here. Let's see what Burns does this time. Burns again will cover the inside, and a little dodge back. Wow, a late move back to the outside by Burns, maybe to try to fool Case, and fooled himself there as Case gets it done in turn 6. Very interesting, and Ron, I might need to see that one again. Might have been kind of a late defensive move there by Burns that backfired.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see Trevor Burns taking the outside line through that corner and able to make the pass on the outside. Great move there to regain the top spot. And you can just see, Case kind of sold him the dummy there, was going to hang on to the outside, and then with that late move by Burns, Case able to drop down to the inside line and make the pass, the inside line of the hairpin, as we're going to get a replay here. As you see, just a nice crossover there. Case diving to the inside, able to get the move done, but Burns did not want any part of that, and he said, "You know what, guy? I'm going to come back around on your outside here in just a couple of corners, so just be ready for it," as they make the run through the little short section there, and you see Burns with a nice move to the outside, kind of pinching Case down, not letting him get the car to the outside line to open up the corner, and kept him pinched down, and a nice move by Burns there as they're still battling.
Man, yeah, beautiful outside pass into turn 8 there. The move of the race so far. And what a thrill it is to see somebody like Burns show up and test Stephen Case. A couple of very, very good drivers with good pace, with racecraft here, going toe-to-toe here. And this is just the first. No. Oh! And there it goes. Case getting camera shy there out of turn 6. Packs it into the Armco, loses his nose, and it is over. Just when I was singing the praises of this battle up front between Burns and Case, Case has put himself out of it. That is going to put him maybe to the back. You cannot drive these things without aero. So Case's car with some terminal damage there. You see him. I told you needed to be patient in a number of places on the track. That's one of them. So Case too early on the throttle, over-rotates into the inside, and and now Burns has gone off. You have got to be kidding, Josh Leslie. And you saw what happened. Burns was lucky to get off the curb there. These F3 cars can get eye-centered on a couple of rare spots on a couple of tracks. You almost saw it right there. And hello, Josh Leslie has got the lead right now by 2 seconds. And look at Tyrone De Silva up 5 in P2. Velasco sitting in P3. And now Eggert up 7 has found himself in P6, which will be pole in about 40 seconds if he can hang on. Crazy stuff on that lap.
Yeah, I think we need to get a replay of the spin there by Burns. Yeah, just loses it on the curb, and just does a great job. Just get the car back onto the track, and obviously not quite enough, and just barely enough traction. Throws it into reverse, bounces the car, teeter-totters it on that curb to get the weight to transfer to the back tire, so he could back it up and get restarted. But yeah, obviously almost a beach moment. And I was going to say before everything happened here that I think that's the first time in all the commentary that I've done in this series, the first time I've seen Case make a mistake just all on his own. And so very, just doesn't happen very often. And then the guy he's fighting does the same, something as well. And now the guy that was running in third is now running in first. Josh Leslie keeping the car on the track and doing everything he needs to do to finish this race in first place. And he's going to take the checkered flag here.
Yeah, and pro tip, kids, drive within yourself, stay frosty, and sometimes good things will come to you. And you saw it come to Josh Leslie right there, and he is thrilled. He was a F4 champion a couple seasons ago. The transition to F3 has not been super smooth for him. He's been waiting to put one together here in this heat, and Leslie is going to win it from De Silva from Velasco. And it looks like a little replay here. This is Mikovits on Lau. Ooh. And a little contact there, a little synchronized spinning. And that one might send Kalen to the principal's office right there. Would maybe need to see that again, but looked like a little bit of a dive. Not sure he had position there, and that's going to cost both him and Lau. And here we go on the last lap. That's a close one. Oof.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think if it was me, I'd probably call that racing incident. It looked like they were just both trying to go to the apex of the corner from different lines, and that's what happens sometimes. But some very tight racing through that section of the track. But hey, you know what? Luckily, I don't have to worry about it because I'm not a steward.
Exactly. Way above our pay grade. We just sit here and speculate about it, and it's going to depend, of course, on what the definition of position is for the league, which I don't know right now. But while we wait here, we're going to have a quick warm-up session here of about 5 minutes in between races. So there are your results, of course. That's Leslie from De Silva, from Velasco, from Green, from Borden, from Eggert. And those top 6 are going to be inverted for the feature. Then it's Corwin, Burns, Wang, and Van Wagner in P10, and a number of incidents there and a lot of cars stuff. And I'll let you cruise through the rest of those on your own, because we're going to go through the grid of the feature, which is pretty much the same info. But Ron, maybe we can pop over and take a look at where our season points are sitting right now, and take advantage of the lull to talk about that a little bit. And there are your individual points. Last season's winner, Stephen Case, on top with 158, as you see there. Mikovits putting together a hell of a season, only 2 races in so far, but Mikovits coming to play this time and is hanging around right behind Case. And then it's Danush Paborji, who's also done very well so far this season. Green, Cotcher, that's his highest position in F3 as far as I've been calling it. Then Lebivi, Wang, Guyton, Eggert, and Lopez rounding out your top 10. So there's your individual points, and I think we have team points as well. And as you'll recall from last season, they've added we don't have them, but I can tell you it is L10, Case and Van Wagner in P1. Then the K-Wang team, that's Mikovits and Chris Wang in 2. Janusz Whoosh. That's Justin Schneider and Danush Paborji there in P3. Then Jarun Kali, that's Broombali and Jason Cotcher in P4. Then Green Duvall, the creatively named Green Duvall team, featuring Green and Duvall in P5. So that's the top 5 of your team points, and kind of adds some fun, gives you a teammate to cheer for, and gives you something else to race for. So my goodness, Charles, that was a little bit messier than I was expecting. There's always conflicts there into turn 6, but a couple of self spins, kind of unforced errors by our front runners, a couple of maybe poor decisions that resulted in collision. So a little bit messy there, and I know these drivers are going to want to clean that up for the 25-minute feature.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously you've just now got 15 minutes under race conditions. So hopefully you've kind of learned a little bit about the track where you can make moves and where you can't. As we see Jason Cotcher, the captain, making his way around, getting a little bit of warm up in. He had a little bit of a shorter race than most earlier, so he wants to get a few more laps in. But yeah, now that you've kind of been out there with all the rest of the cars, it's going to make this second race a little bit easier. Obviously, I think we'll be a little bit cleaner to start. You still have to remember, obviously, that that first lap or so, very very cold tires, very very cold brakes. The car just doesn't behave quite the way you expect because you have been doing laps at max pace for the last few minutes. So you just got to reset yourself a little bit there. Say, all right, I've got to come back out here, start this race again. Let's keep our head clear, our eyes focused forward, and make sure that we get a good start and we get a good clean line out of through turn one. Just make sure that everything's under control. We'll get the tires warmed up in due course, and then we can do some racing for the next 24 or so minutes. So that's I think that's what everybody's kind of thinking now is, or in the case of say maybe Traver Burns here, he's thinking, all right, what did I screw up last time, and how do I fix that? So I think he made a couple of obviously one big mistake there where he just got off the track and lost the car trying to get it rejoined. But there was a couple little race line issues that he had during the course of that. He'll want to get those corrected and make sure that everything is ready for him to make his run up through the field, starting in 8th, I believe, for this race. So he's got a few cars that he's going to have to work behind and work through in order to get back up to the front.
Yeah, too right, and really, I think the pressure is really going to be on Case here. Burns, kind of the newcomer in the league, has really showed up here and thrown some curveballs at Case that Case didn't know what to do with, and that inside defense into turn 6, that killer outside move into turn 8. So nobody's put that kind of pressure on Case before, and Case is the one that's going to have to figure out how to deal with this other driver who is right up on his level. But here's your starting grid. It's going to be Chris Eggert lined up next to David Borden in the front row, then Jason Green next to Velasco in 3 and 4. Tyrone De Silva will line up next to the heat winner Josh Leslie in 5 and 6. Then it's Joshua Corwin next to the aforementioned Traver Burns 7 and 8. Chris Wang next to Aaron Van Wagner. Danush Paborji next to Daniel Labivy in row 6. Then it's Edgar Lau next to Jose Navas. And whoa, talked a little bit too long. We're underway. There's already a problem in the back between Chia and Conway as Eggert and Borden.
That's Case.
Is that Case?
That's not. Is that right? I think that is Stephen Case.
Case is in the 2-4-3. I thought that was that might have been Case having an issue right off the start. So, and it looks like Chia and Case with a meatball. Holy cow, and things going from bad to worse for Stephen Case, who has taken a tow after taking damage off of the start. We will show you that when we have a second to breathe here. But right now it's Eggert from Borden, from Green, from Leslie, and Burns already pressing. Burns getting a twofer in turn 6. Look at that as Burns has lit the wick here and is challenging Jason Green for P3 already on the first lap, and he is going to get it right now. He's going to take that outside line around turn 8, the one he smoked Case on, and Burns just has Borden and Eggert in front of him at this point and is looking to put himself in position to drive away now. And I may be putting the cart ahead of the horse, but things looking good for Burns, things not looking good for De Silva and Navas, as you saw off in the grass, and looks like another messy one potentially. And there's Eggert leading Borden and Burns. And my goodness, more kerfuffleage here, Charles, at Hockenheim.
Yeah, absolutely. Eggert, really good start. Off to a good start. 7/10 up on Borden. Burns already up 5 positions from the start of the race. And we're going to replay here. I saw a car up in the air. I thought it might have been Case, and let's see if see what happened here. Oh yeah. Oh no. the car in front of him just did not take off, and Stephen, really got a good start, and the car in front of him did not. I I think that might have been Mikovits. I'm not sure though. Kind of looked like his paint scheme. But whoever it was, they just didn't get off the line. And obviously, when you're really trying to get a good start to move up, there was just not much reaction time left for Stephen Case to do anything except jump over that car's back wheel.
And I hate to say it, I want to say that was Snyder. Well, maybe not.
Lau?
Oh, it's
Okay.
Edgar Lau.
Wow.
Unable to get off the line there. Wow, on Lau. And man, I'll tell you, if you're Stephen Case, you're the fastest guy in the field starting from the back. Do you really try to put down your most badass start that you've ever done in that situation? Or do you just take a breath knowing that you got 25 minutes ahead? I mean, I know you can pick up a couple of cheap ones there off the starting grid, but it seems like it would be kind of risky at the slower end of the field, and that bit Case right there.
Yeah, and as we see a car off, getting rejoined. Kind of scary rejoin there, but safe. Everybody's safe as Corbin moves around. I knew that was Josh Leslie that was off. I think I've seen him off on that corner a couple of times in the heat race. So it's kind of upset. Kind of not necessarily out of place here. So we're gonna, just catch that curb a little bit on the outside, and it just kind of unsettles him and kind of just messes up his whole corner. And you just see he's trying to get back on the throttle, and the car just pushing wide there. Just kind of go back to that start. I think Case was not the last car in line, so taking a breath is one thing, but you can't just kind of sit there because there's a car behind you that's trying to start too. And so it's either you hit in the front or hit in the rear. And neither one of those are good propositions. So not really sure anything Stephen Case could have done there to mitigate that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we hate to see our front runners out of the action like that, but Case still sitting in the pits right now. I don't know if he's going to get the car repaired and get out and do some more laps or not, but his race obviously over. Meanwhile, the person who looked like his biggest challenger, Traber Burns, is up 6 positions after his little incident in the heat, and he has got less than a second ahead to Chris Eggert. So it's Eggert from Burns, from David Borden, and Burns got plenty of time, and another crash coming onto the front straight. That turn 16 is a tough one. We've seen problems there. It's very tough to get the car turned right there, Charles. You saw Leslie kind of go wide there, and there's kind of bad camber there. You either have to be very patient on the throttle, you get a trail brake there pretty heavily, and can cause problems. And flirting with the curb, that's Lebivy. Oh my goodness. And call a medic. And is that Cotcher getting involved in that one too? I think I see that maybe that Porsche livery. Oh no, that was Poborgi. So Poborgi was way up in the championship. He's P3 at VIR, P2 at Nürburgring. So Poborgi and Case both kind of having major incidents. Poborgi is going to have to take a tow. Looks like Lebivy is in the pits getting repairs as well. So this one getting messier and messier. And I guess I would have hoped that people would take a little breath before this one and kind of avoid those kind of errors. But so far, so bad at Hockenheim.
Yeah, it's not been the cleanest of races here, and it's once again, it's not the easiest course in the world. It's not, it's a flat track, no elevation to speak of. And a good mix of corners that really challenge it. I mean, there is a Porsche Experience Center here where they do a lot of driver training, so they make this it's a tough track to try and get a handle on. Especially, and we go back to the fact that we're talking about SRG, and a lot of these guys are coming into the sim center there to run their race, not necessarily getting a lot of practice time. You get your 1 hour of qualifying, and that's about it before you're out there, battling the other competitors. So This is not the easiest track in the world to just kind of get nailed down in an hour. There's a lot of little nuances here as we see this battle going down into the hairpin. Oh, and Eggert spins it as they try to get back on the throttle there and just loops the car around. That makes it very easy for Burns to just take over the top spot.
Yeah, another self spin there out of that hairpin. And oh my gosh.
No.
There goes Schneider, who's dropping more Lego parts there in turn 6. You don't want to step on those with bare feet. And
No.
Justin, you don't want to drive back with no wing and cause an incident. That has been announced that you'll be smacked very hard if you do that and damage somebody else trying to drive that car without a wing. And Schneider finally taking the tow there. But oh my gosh, things pretty crazy here, and Burns and now completely driving away. Eggert probably wouldn't have challenged him that much, and now Burns is enjoying about a 2-second gap behind. And let me give you one. Oh, and there's Eggert kind of over rotating there in turn 6, backs out of the way. Oof, keeps it out of the wall barely there, but just a quick observation. Oh my goodness, as we see a little 3 wide there. Oh, that's the Schneider incident. I think that is turn 6 as well. So there is going to be a yard sale of F3 parts there in the infield and outfield section of turn 6 if you want to stop by there after the race. But oh, and there's Leslie having a problem as well. Looks like he smooched the driver in front of him, was enough to upset that car, and that sends Leslie tumbling down. Leslie had been making progress, now sitting at P5, up 1 from his qualifying position. But if people would stop going off in the grass, I could make the point that I was going to make, Charles, and that is that I'm going to say that Hockenheim, and you go ahead and light my ass on fire on the YouTube chat. Hockenheim is an easy track to drive 9/10 at. It's banked, it's smooth, it's friendly, but to drive 10/10 is another thing entirely, because you got to flirt with the curbs, you got to flirt with the boundaries, take chances, and those risks are eating cars here right and left.
You know what? I would absolutely agree with that. You can run this 9/10 all day long and never have an issue, but it's that final 10% that catches you out. Because you're absolutely right. There's just impediments to quick laps here that you have to deal with, and seemingly everything upsets the car to a point that you struggle for adhesion throughout most of the course there, as you see the cars taking that outside curb there, which is just dangerous. But you just kind of get used to dealing with that lap after lap. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that's a spot on observation.
Yeah, and like that exit of turn 1, you see those cars bouncing over it. And, if you want to run at the front, if you want fast laps, you have to do it on every lap. And that means that it's a mandatory risk that you take every lap. And there are a number of places out here that are like that. And that's really what makes Hockenheim challenging. If you want to have a nice, easy run, keep it on the asphalt, stay on the smooth stuff, and you'll do fine. If you want to go on the cutting edge, you have to risk life and limb. It kind of sounds German to me now that I put it that way. But take a look at Burns, man. Burns has driven off. He's up 7 positions to run in the lead. He's driven away from Borden to the tune of about 3 seconds. And take a look at Jason Cotcher as well. Today's hard charger up 12 positions. So Cotcher obviously taking advantage of some of these incidents, but I think he saw him a little bit of a battle. I think he had a couple legit moves in there as well. So very good performance by Cotcher, and we are giving points this time for hard charger. I think there's points for that. And points for clean driving as well, and may not be giving out many of those after this one, as we watch Cotcher come off that pit straight, go around that turn 1, ultra precise at the beginning, and then hang on for dear life as you bounce across that exit curb.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's exactly how you have to do it. I think if you ask Jason, he would probably tell you he probably wanted to finish a little higher in the heat race and not be the hard charger for race 2, but he's done a good job of avoiding the carnage there, and and it's kept the car clean. And that's really the whole point, right? Is keep the car clean, keep it in contact with the gray stuff, and you'll end up with a good result more often than not. But as you said, sometimes the great results means you have to take a few risks that you don't necessarily want to take every lap that you go around. So he's done a really good job. And so it's him in eighth, and Mikovits is sitting there in seventh, up 10 spots as well. So both those guys have done a good job. We'll see what happens. I'm kind of watching to see if Jason Green was going to get by Borden and maybe make a charge at Burns before the end of this, but not so much so far. We're still only about, we're only halfway through the race, so we've still got plenty of time. But I was trying to look at maybe some of the other drivers that I would kind of say. Eggert sitting there in sixth. He's already had the spin. Normally, I would say he's somebody to look out for in the last 10 minutes. He does a good job of hanging on to his tires during the course of the race. But I think with that spin, may have done a little more damage than he would probably want. Yeah,
and I'll tell you, keeping an eye on Jason Green, probably a good idea. Green is super frosty as they come, and he might be right where he wants to be. If he can hang with Borden and keep that 0.6, 0.7 gap until the end of the race, save his tires, and then attack at the end, he might be exactly where he wants to be to snatch that P2 away from David Borden, and that very well may be what he's thinking. And with about, we're about 11 and a half minutes left, and Charles, we're about to get into the tire witching hour. Usually kicks in with about 10 minutes to go, and I'm going to say that the rears are going to go a little sooner, so we might see some more self-spins out of these slow corners. But the folks who have taken care of their tires, who have thought about tire management for the 25-minute stretch here, are going to be their expertise is going to bear fruit here, and those who haven't planned for tire management, they are going to be exposed here. And my goodness, that kitty litter out there out of turn 16, I thought there was a slowdown out there somewhere, Charles, but I guess you've got to brush it up against the wall to get it there.
I guess so. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of slowdowns happening there. We haven't seen any of the indicators on our timing and scoring, and I think your first indicator for tire wear in the rear is probably going to start at turn 6 in that hairpin. You'll start seeing more of those half spins and spins coming out of the corner as trying to get back on throttle, and the tires will just say, nope, I don't have that in me anymore. So we'll start looking at that as we get a little closer to the end of the race, as we're coming up on that 10-minute mark to go in the race, as we see Cotcher down the inside of turn 6, making the corner and getting it back going again, and able to hang on there in P8, right in front of Edgar Lau and Christopher Wang, who are still up there battling in the top 10. So we'll just see a little slide there from Cotcher coming out of turn 8. So yeah, starting to see a little bit going on with the rears. I think that'll become more pronounced the further we get on here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cotcher with his hands full. Lau is a real-world active driver who's competing right now at tracks, I think around SoCal is where he is located. But despite his apparent inability to get the car off the line, and he's going to owe Case, I think, an apology and a beer for that. But he has definitely got pace. He's got experience. He's got racecraft, and I'm sure Cotcher is watching his rearview mirror right now as he is the cork in the bottle, holding up Lau. Oh yeah, you saw him get a little too much there, flirting with disaster on the exit of turn 1. Hangs on, but every little episode, every little incident like that, we talked about tire wear. Every time something like that happens, you're taking another withdrawal out of the bank of tires, and you eventually end up overdrawn and off the track. Cotcher covering the inside here into turn 6, and we have seen tons of action right here. This is where Mikovits got Cotcher a couple laps ago. See if Lau can pull off the same thing. Not quite. Does not quite have the line right there. And I'll tell you, iRacing developers, let me set up a practice session in iRacing. And let me put cones out, because I would like to put cones out right there in turn 6 and teach people how to drive that outside line. Would be a great teaching tool. But in any event, back to the race, and Lau taking another stab at Cotcher there, not able to get it done. So Cotcher, for the time being, will hang on to P8 and hang on to that hard charger with 11 positions gained.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of keeping Lau behind him, but Lau obviously getting really racy here in the late stages. It really wants that position from Cotcher, and is putting the pressure on as we move back up here to P2. David Borden, as you see those lines going a little wider coming through one, as he is still in front of Jason Green by a half second. Jason not really putting a lot of pressure on him, just kind of hanging and marking time in there, sitting in third. As that gap continues to grow up to Burns, it's up to 3.7 seconds. So Burns not waiting around for these guys to figure things out. He says, I'm going to get up here and I'm going to give myself enough of a gap that doesn't matter who's coming up through the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And you fans of Kalen Mikovits, and I know that Kalen has got some fans watching right now. Mikovits has cranked down Eggert to about 4/10 now. If he can get through Eggert and Lau gets through Cotcher, which seems likely to me with 7 minutes remaining. Sorry, Jason, but Lau has got a lot of pace out here. That hard charger could fall into Mikovits's lap here. So that's something that's going on here on track, riding along with Mikovits, looking ahead to Eggert, and that gap about 4/10. And Jason Green as well, continuing to crank down that gap on Borden. And looks like Josh Leslie has joined that party with Borden as well. Leslie has caught Borden and Green, got about an 8/10 gap ahead. So Leslie may be lighting the wick and wanting to get involved in this one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a car in the background there was spun around coming out of 6. So it looks like maybe the tires are starting to go. Could not see who it was. It was just, once again, just a random blue dot in the background there. But it was definitely sideways. So maybe we're starting to see those rear tires starting to fall off. And that's going to make this last few minutes very interesting. And we'll see how the rest of these drivers hang on to it. As Josh Leslie's now closed within 1 second of Jason Green. So Josh says, look, Jason, if you're not going to get around him, then I'm going to get around you, and I'm going to try it. So it looks like this battle for P2 is starting to heat up quite a bit more.
Yeah, Green feeling some pressure from behind as he watches Leslie crank down that gap. He's been wanting to wait to the end. There's about 5 minutes remaining, probably about 4 laps left in this one. So if Green had intended to save his tires, save him to attack Borden at the end, now is the time to do it with Leslie sniffing around behind him. And Green has got that gap down to under 3/10 now. And a couple places here you see the draft go to work. They need to get through this section. Ooh, as you see Borden flirting with the kitty litter there. Borden feeling the pressure, and maybe his tires are starting to give out on him. You saw him go wide and saw that gap fall down again. And is Green going to be able to make something happen here down the pit straight? Don't see it often, but it is doable. Certainly worth showing a nose and reminding your competitor that you're back there waiting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got Trevor Burns with some little connection issue there. I've seen him blinking in and out a couple of times there over the last few corners. But yeah, Jason needs to if he's gonna make this move on board, he needs to hurry up and get it done, because Josh Leslie's now cut that gap in half. It's now a half second as these cars are heading down. And Jason, he's going to get a good draft here. He's going to close this gap up. He's going to be able to move to the inside here and make this. Yep, he's going to take that run and move to the inside. And let's see how he manages to get through there. If he can, very, very tight. And you saw a little bit. There it is. There's a spin on the back of the car, and he just can't get the car to head straight again. That's going to actually drop him down, and Leslie's going to take the spot, and Corbin's going to jump up to P4 as well.
Yeah, and Leslie, I believe, and Leslie fans, forgive me if I'm wrong, this may be Leslie's first podium if he can hang on here. But yeah, the heat builds up in these tires so fast, Charles, particularly the rears. If you light them up like that just for a second, you've got to breathe them. It takes a couple corners for them to cool back down and give you any grip at all. And you saw that kind of bite Burns when he got way messy and tried to keep going fast. That's what ended up turning him. And there is Lau still banging around up front with Cotcher. And what is that gap down to? That's down to about 0.3, about 3 minutes remaining here, 2 or 3 laps left, depending on how much time was showing when Burns crossed the line. But Cotcher now has got a mile ahead of him and a millisecond behind him as Lau all over him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Edgar is all over him. As you see, he's just really pushing the entries on these corners really hard, trying to get the car to commit and make the corner. And so far, it's managed to do it, but he's pushing the edge of the envelope with every time by, and it's you see it's kind of cost him a little bit of time there. He's actually dropped off a little bit as Jason, being the cool customer, just running his pace and running his line and not really overdriving the corners. And he's doing a good job of just some defensive driving and keeping the car in the line that he wants it to be in. And Lau just unable to find a way around, as we see the battle here between Corwin and Jason Green. Corwin's done a good job up to P4. Once again, just keeping the car in check, and he looked a little unsure of himself there in the heat race. Oh, as we see him a little bit wide there coming into the arena section, gathers it back up, and you could just see these cars as they jump these curbs. Once they get to that outside section of the curb, it's very difficult to get these cars to want to behave themselves, and you see them having to correct and straighten the tires out to just get the car to head back in the proper direction.
Yeah, and as you saw on at least one place on this track, you go across the curb too far, the bottom of the tub scrapes the curb and lifts the tires up off the asphalt. So very, very tricky stuff here at Hockenheim. And just a reminder on that, Mikovits versus Cotcher for the hard charger. Mikovits, of course, got through Eggert due to Eggert's little error there in the hairpin. Now they're both up 11. So Cotcher right now trying to hang on to that hard charger with Lau in pursuit. And looks like Green may have a crack at Corwin. We're getting down to crunch time here. And there is Cotcher with Lau and Wang behind. And not a lot of other action in the field right now. And we may actually be on the white flag lap. In fact, well, I guess we'll see next time around. It could be close. Ron is telling me that we're on the penultimate lap right now. So Burns will take the white with 24 and change on the clock, enjoying about a 4-second gap. So, man, this everything has gone Burns' way in this one. An error there, of course, in the heat, which cost him a little bit, but he made up for. What did he pick up? 4 or 5 positions on the first lap, and Case had that issue and left Burns to drive away.
Yeah, absolutely. White flag by 4 seconds as he crossed the line. So that shows you how tight that was. As David Borden still running in second, Josh Leslie running in third, half-second back, trying to close that gap down. He's got one more lap to try and get a move done to get a step higher on the podium. And the battle continues between Corbin and Green, now 0.3 of a second. So Green is going to try and put the pressure on him here, headed down this straightaway into the hairpin corner. And he's got that good run. You see the draft really kicking in. Corbin goes to the defensive line to the inside. And Green, is he going to be able to get by him and get him cleared before they get into the corner? Maybe so.
Yep.
Very tight there. And, oh, yeah, Corbin around. Oh, no. That's not what you want to be. It looks like that inside line there in the hairpin is doing some damage to these cars, as that inside car just not wanting to get back on throttle, and you're we're seeing lots of cars looping it around there, as we now have a battle here between Wang passing Lau there in the hairpin to take over that ninth position.
Yeah, and all that fighting between Lau and Cotcher, I think, has hurt Lau's tires and made him vulnerable to Wang. Wang got by him there briefly, but they're in the Mercedes grandstand section. Lau pushes his way back through, but meanwhile, up front to the tune of 3 seconds, Traber Burns has won his first race here in F3. And Charles, I think it is good money, even money at least, that we're going to see Burns back on that top step again. What a drive by him.
Yeah, great drive by him. Did everything right in that race. Did not put a foot wrong, and that was what they gave it to him. As you see that battle coming across the start-finish line with Mikovits getting by Corwin there with the Corwin spin in the hairpin to get 5th place. Corwin ends up 6th, Eggert 7th, Cotcher finishing in 8th. Ahead of Edgar Lau, who gets the spot back over Christopher Wang to round out your top 10.
Yeah, and what a drive by Mikovits. He is up 12 to land in the top 5. So he faced some adversity in this race. Things didn't go well for him in the heat. Started way back in the field, but kept pedaling, kept pushing, made some passes, took advantage of some errors by others, and got up into the top 5 and snatched that hard charger away from Jason Cotcher. So great drive by him. Great drive by Traber Burns. Cotcher as well was pedaling hard to get that P8 up 11. And my sympathies to the drivers and their fans who had rough races here at Hockenheim, and that's more than a handful of cars that we saw taking tows on that long flatbed ride to the pit. So a little bit rough and tumble. Stewards are going to be busy. I think I saw some racing incidents, Charles, for sure. I saw some kind of self spins, but there may be one or two little, as I said, teaching opportunities in some of the contact that we saw. But let's go ahead and get your final results up for you. And there they are. Traber Burns has won his first F3 race here in Sim Racers Group with a fantastic drive, and authoritatively, I believe he got the fast lap and won it by about 3 seconds over David Borden in P2. Congrats to Josh Leslie on what I believe is his first podium, maybe second if you go back to last season. But good job, Josh, putting one together here. Jason Green drove well as well to get into P4. Mikovits, we spoke about getting up into P5. Then it's Corwin, Eggert, Cotcher, Edgar Lau, and Chris Wang, who pushed his way up into the top 10. Oh, I'm sorry. That's actually a loss of one from his qualifying. Then it's Duvall, Van Wagner, Navas Velasco, and Poborgi rounding out the top 15. Then Labivi, De Silva, and Justin Snyder. And then Case is going to DFL it after that perplexing incident off of the start, and I'm sure there is going to be some discussion of that as well. But let's go ahead and take a peek outside, and let's go ahead and bring in Josh Corwin. Josh, pretty good drive today. You were dodging some flaming barrels out there and managed to avoid all the mayhem that was going on. Moved up from P7 quali up into P6. So solid drive all around. You had some good battles going. So what did you think of this race at Hockenheim?
You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, you can hear you fine. Go ahead.
Beauty. I love this track. I wish I would have qualified a bit better. I had the pace too, but I was able to make up some positions due to attrition. And then Josh Leslie was on my tail or catching me the whole main race and side by side into the hairpin, and I just a little too much throttle. Luckily, only Kalen also got around me and was able to hold off Eggert for the P6.
Yeah, well, very well done. And things a little bit messy out there. And I'm not sure if the track temperature not terrible. Looks like it's about 96 right now. But did it feel greasy out there, or what was going on with all these incidents?
Well, about the 10-minute mark is when the tires did start to go away. And once you get them hot, you got to back off and let them cool down for about half a lap to a full lap, or you're just going to keep spinning. And I think that's what happened to Josh Leslie. Lots of offs, lots of, heating up those tires, and then he just had to cool down, and then he eventually got around me. So there you go.
Yeah, well, you were in some great battles, kept it clean, kept it respectful, and I think you got a decent amount of screen time today. So you and your fans should be happy watching the broadcast. So 3 races in, I've got a pretty good schedule coming up. So what you get any thoughts about next week?
Let's see what's coming up next week here.
Next week, we're heading to the Daytona Road Course, which I think is going to be fascinating in these things.
That's a fun course. You got to find a draft partner, and hopefully those long banking straightaways give us some close racing.
All right. So, Corwin looking for a draft partner. Dial 1-800 follow me before next week at Daytona. So, well, Josh, thanks for stopping by and sharing your thoughts. And as we wrap up, is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to tonight?
Just SRG for always doing such a great job. I really like the new format. Unfortunately, I was a victim of one of the bad penalties in the first race of the season, so I got to keep it clean, which I did. And then to the people who tune in every night, Ashley, my folks, Rob, and anybody else out there who knows me, thanks for watching.
All right, excellent. Well, well done again, Josh, and we will see you next week at Daytona.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Charles, why don't we hand you the winner of tonight's... Well, wait a minute. Yeah, let's bring in Traver Burns, tonight's winner.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you spun on a separate incident.
Hey, Traver.
Okay.
Hello. This is Charles up in the booth. Congratulations on the race victory.
Thank you.
So yeah, just tonight looked like it was just a night to just be steady and not just minimize your mistakes, and that's exactly what you did tonight, and that gave you a victory.
Yeah, well, I learned from my mistakes in the sprint, so thankfully it paid out in the feature. Yeah, it was a good hard lesson in the sprint on how the tires wear. It turns out it's not just the traction zones where the rear tires are a problem. So learned that one the hard way, and then figured that out, put it to good use, and had some luck on my side for the feature.
Yeah, we were talking with Josh Corwin earlier, saying the tires, about the 10-minute mark, just started fading and overheating, and that seemed to be the biggest issue. Was once you push the tires beyond their limit, it just took them a while to come back and cost yourself some time that way.
Yeah, the biggest difference between the sprint and the feature for me was in the sprint, I was just battling the whole time, so I didn't really have the luxury of being able to worry about my tire temps. I was just trying to keep position the whole time. Once I was able to figure out who I was up against, I had a decent gap. I think at one point I had like a 1.5 second gap on board, and that's when I really just settled in. Was making sure that the rear tires didn't slide too much, and I was able to just manage that the rest of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. He did a great job tonight. So next week at the high banks of Daytona on the road course. So what are your thoughts about that race coming up?
That will be extremely interesting because of how much the slipstream plays a factor in these cars. Also, if it ends up being hot, the rear tires are going to be screaming for their life too on the traction zones. So yeah, that'll be I'm really excited for that one, because usually Daytona in any car provides some really good racing.
Yeah, completely agree with that. So Traver, congratulations, and we'll let you give any thanks before we'll let you go and celebrate your victory tonight.
Well, shout out to both Josh Leslie and Steven, man. That was some fantastic battling in the sprint. That was just a whole lot of fun. Shout out to Sim Races Group. I'm back home now, but on my own sim. But recently I had moved down to the Bay for college and didn't have any place to go for sim racing. Where I live, I don't have the room to set up a sim. So thankfully I found Jason and the guys there. So usually I'm in house with them. And shout out to you guys for broadcasting this. It's a hell of a time. Oh, also shout out to my former instructor Edgar Lau. He's an instructor at Skip Barber, and I did a class with him. So, big thanks to him. He's a really good coach.
There you go. All right, Traver, congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Traver Burns, your race winner.
Yeah, let's just keep going down the grid. We'll go ahead and bring in David Borden. Dave, pretty solid drive today. You qualified second and hung on to that P2. First, you were pressured by Green for about 3/4 of that race till he had an issue. Then he had to deal with Josh Leslie down the stretch. So very good job. And just to kind of share your approach, how do you handle managing a gap behind when you're getting that kind of pressure?
Oh man, I just try to stay as focused as possible so that I don't make any big mistakes. You know, it was really tough. This is the first time I've been anywhere near this far up. You know, when I finish in F3, so it was a new experience for sure, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, like I said, very good drive, and there was all kinds of mayhem kind of going on around you, which you managed to avoid. So, I mean, we've been watching you. We knew that you had some pace and just needed to put a race together, and it looks like you got it done here at Hockenheim. So, very good job on that. And I've got to ask you about the next entry on the schedule, which I think is fascinating, and that is F3 cars on the Daytona road course. So, what are your thoughts about preparing for that one?
Well, I'm going to have to practice because I've never had the car on Daytona, and I've only done maybe an hour on that track. So I'm going to be at quite a deficit. A lot of the drivers in this class do endurance racing on Daytona, so I'm going to have to spend some time and try to get some pace at least so I can keep up.
Well, I'll tell you that their advantage might not be as big as you think, because the GT3 driver does a lot of curb hopping around Daytona, and I don't think that's going to be viable in these things. So I think you're going to be learning together. But in any event, again, congratulations on the podium on the P2, and you did a great job dealing with the pressure all around you for 25 minutes, and did a good job with tire management as well. So very well done, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And as we wrap up, is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to today?
Yeah, again, SRG, Jason does a great job, and all the guys and gals that participate in the series, you know, and all of them that I've raced in with this group, they're just great. The new system that Jason has seems to really be working to keep drivers, racing clean. So that's been greatly appreciated. So it's been a lot of fun.
All right, very good. Well, congrats again, David, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
All righty. All right, Charles, I will now hand you the third step of the podium, Josh Leslie.
Yep. Josh, congratulations. Making the step up into the F3 series, at the better part of last season, and now getting your first podium, I believe, for this season. So congratulations. How was your race? I saw we caught a bit of you early in the first race. Had an incident, and then came back in race 2 in the feature, and got behind. Tracked down David Borden and Jason Green, and Jason Green, usually cool customer, making a very unlikely mistake for him, and you were able to capitalize and finish up on the podium.
Yeah, first the heat race was straight up a dream come true. So I saw them both spinning in front of me, and I was like, thank you very much. And also, I'm pretty sure this is my second
podium. Oh, all right. Oh, hey, so what happens when I don't get to call every race? So congratulations on your second podium. Talk about anything in here that kind of caught you out as far as the track itself, or the track versus the car, because we have heard some issues with tire heat being a severe problem tonight.
Yeah, definitely, especially in the dirty air. Turn 1 and turn 11 becomes really tricky. It's so easy to go off track. Then the tight hairpin, it's just trying to perfect your throttle application to not wheel spin into the barriers or anything.
Yeah, I think, did we see you out in the gravel trap on the outside of 16, out of the final corner, a couple of times during that race as well?
Oh yeah, I did do that.
Is that just basically just understeer from the car, not wanting to comply, coming around that final corner?
Like you can if you hit the sausage curb on the outside entry,
Yep.
then it just shoots your car out wide.
Yep, that'll absolutely do it every time. So next week, Daytona at the Daytona Road Course with the F3 cars. What are your thoughts about that?
It's a cool track. I've only really driven it in Forza Motorsport, so I need to practice on this, but I think it could be a great opportunity to get another podium.
There you go. That's the way you have to look at it, Josh. Congratulations, and we'll let you give any thanks, and then let you go and celebrate your podium.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my parents. Obviously, I now have like a new sim rig at home. I'd like to thank them for getting that, and I'd like to thank Jason.
There you go, Josh Leslie. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and that was gave you your whole podium tonight. The Burns from Borden, from Leslie, and I'll tell you what, I have all the podiums from last season, and this is the first one that did not have Case, Green, Eggert, or Poborgi on it. So
Wow.
the little bit of shuffling at the top of Formula 3, and maybe mixing things up a little bit and putting some pressure on the front runners will increase the excitement. Not that it needed any. We've had a great time covering F3, but it's great to see some fresh battling up front and some fresh names up in the top three, which we certainly did tonight. So holy cow, that is going to wrap up Hockenheim. What a fantastic race. And folks, we are not just about Sim Racers Group here at Slow Motion Broadcasting. We have got a full slate of action coming up on Saturday. Our Weekend Warriors Formula V drivers will visit Barber Motorsports Park in where is it? Alabama.
Birmingham, Alabama. JR,
Birmingham.
Come on.
Sunday, XSLR be back here at Watkins Glen. The next Tuesday, Sim Racers Group open wheel action with Formula 4 at Lebanon. 1 week from tonight, SRG F3 at the Daytona International Raceway.
Yeah, that's perfect. And for those who haven't run laps at Daytona, brand new curbing in the Le Mans chicane or the bus stop. And nobody is running the curbs at Daytona now, so the F3s are not going to have to worry about it. If you're on the curbs, you're in trouble. I'm just going to say that right now. So for the racers who go back and watch the entire broadcast, you just got a heads up.
Yeah, and I think that they should continue changing those curbs like maybe every day, because they just changed them. They changed them again, and I went through there in my 911 the way I did last time, and ended up in the stands. So definitely big changes out there. Well, in any event, that is going to wrap it up for today. I am JR Gregory on behalf of myself, my partner, Charles Boshell, our producer, Racing Ron Maunz, and everybody here at SMB. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your night wherever you are, and have a happy and joyous new year.